want to introduce two people that are with me here. I want to introduce my wife, Beverly, and she's standing way back in the corner there. And Beverly was about 23, 24 years old when she drove into my driveway, and this little girl was scooted way down in a big old Jaguar convertible, and she said she couldn't afford my furniture, but she wanted to order some, and I thought, it doesn't make sense driving a big brand new Jaguar convertible and all, but I did furniture for her. She paid me so much a month on some of the pieces. I think she still owes me money, I don't know. No. But after Frida went away, after 50 years of a wonderful, wonderful life, I was alone for about 3 years, and I ran into Beverly accidentally at a ceramics exhibit, and she mentioned her table and said, "Sam, it needs refinishing," and I was having a show at Riverside, and so I called her up and I said, "I'll be in Riverside, why don't you have lunch with me, and I'll look at your table." And she said, "Well, better yet, why don't you come for lunch?" And I didn't know what was in her mind, but I sat at the table. It was just as black as all get out, and I thought, "Beverly, what did you do to this table?" She said, I go over it with, what was it, Beverly? It was something, and it turned it all black. And I said, "Do you mind if I take this back to my shop and refinish it for you?" She said, "Would you?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." Well, by putting all this crud on it, when I took it off, the table was as if I just made it. And it was the fastest job I've ever in my life done. It took me 2 days to do, and I called her and said I had the table finished, and I married her. So we've been married about 4 years, and it's been wonderful. She's backed me 100%, and of course she's gotten more furniture too. And then the other, after Frida went away, I was sort of at a loss. I didn't know how to keep books or anything. I never did that. And a friend of mine introduced me to Roz Bach, and I liked her immediately. And Roz came to work with me, and she runs the business. She's the boss. I don't do anything without asking her if it's all right. And a lot of times I do things for people that I know, and I just don't have the heart to charge them what I get for my stuff. And I give them a discount, and Roz sees to it that they don't get the discount. And but she takes care of me, and I do want to thank Beverly for marrying me, and I want to thank Roz so much for being my very dear friend and who runs my shop. And I don't know what I would do without both of them. And I do want to thank you very, very much. I started working about 60 years ago. I'd gotten out of the Army in 1945, and I went back to graphic arts. I wasn't trained in graphic arts, but I did graphic arts. And I had a little apartment that had horrible furniture in it. So I went to night school at Belmont High School and made furniture. And a friend of mine that taught at Chenard's saw it and said, "Sammy, I think people would buy this if you made it." Well, I lived in the city for about a year, moved to Claremont. I became the assistant to Millard Sheets, who was director of the arts department at Scripps College, and we became very good friends. And I met Frida. She had gotten out of the Navy. She was director of arts and crafts in the Indian Service at Santa Fe Indian School. And I saw her. We married just about a month after I started going with her. And she was the heart and soul of what I did. If it hadn't been for her, I don't think anyone would have put up with what I was earning and all, but she did. And I say she was the heart and soul of what I did and what I still do. And it just started developing. I've never solicited work. I never had a showroom. Well, I did have a showroom, but they were taking a third. The client would take or the decorator would take a third, and I kept a third, which wasn't very much left. And so I finally just started selling direct, and I still sell direct. I do not advertise. I've never advertised, or I've never solicited work. And I think it's quite unusual but it happened, and I don't know what I would do if I were starting out again now, but I have 3 men that work for me. They were just teenagers when they came to work, and one is now 65, one is 46, and one is about 40, and they've been with me all these years. I still design everything. I still put everything together that goes out of my shop. And I draw very, very well, and I have hundreds and hundreds of drawings. And I found out that Art Center was having an auction, and they asked if I would donate a drawing. And I said, what, a sketch or a working drawing or what? And they said, well, whatever you want to do. So I made a walnut frame, matted a drawing like those that you see back there. And it went for more than anything in the whole auction. And I thought, yeah, these are worth kind of a lot of money. So once in a while I'll sell an original, and then I make another one, which is also original. And about 5 years ago, the freeway, the Highway 210 went right through our property. And because it was declared a historical house, they couldn't tear it down. And we found another location. They gave us 20 different locations that we'd go to, and Frida and I picked one up about 3 miles north of us, about 2,500 feet up in the foothills of the San Bernardino Mountains. And they moved the old house. I designed a new house, and the old house is now used as a museum, but it's livable. When friends come, they stay there. And Beverly and I live in the new house. And then Beverly did a garden. We live on 6 acres. And Beverly's created the most beautiful garden ever. And visitors come to see that. So that's pretty much about how I work. But I still work 6 days a week, 10, 12 hours a day. And I let Roz do the pricing because a lot of times she thinks I'm too low, and she charges what she thinks I ought to get, which is real good. But I enjoy what I do very, very much. I'll be 90 pretty quick, but I still work 10, 12 hours a day. And I think it's creating pieces, making pieces, meeting people that keep me going. And it'd be awful to have to just sit on your butt and not do anything. But I love what I do, and I love the people that I work for. I've made hundreds and hundreds of friends. I'm working for the 3rd generation now, and this lady has 3 sons, and I'm not going to mention who they are or anything, but they've all become very successful, and they've ordered all kinds of furniture from me, and I haven't gotten to it yet. And the mother calls up and says, well, Sammy, you've known them since you were little boys, and blah, 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 blah. And Roz, I let Roz answer the phone. Roz says, well, they can wait. They're about 40th on the list and all. And so she takes the brunt of all the attacks, but I have fun in making it. I very seldom do drawings. I make drawings, but I haven't done one for a long, long time to show the client. I just do what I want to do pretty much. And right now I'm doing a house in Scottsdale, Arizona, that probably is the biggest job I've ever had. And I think when I get through with it, it'll be over $1 million. I hope I live long enough to finish it and all. But they put up with me. And then we're doing a job in Wichita Falls. I think it's in Kansas. Wichita Falls in Kansas? Yeah. And then we do a lot of jobs, just somebody ordering one chair or a rocking chair or whatever. And but I have patterns, but today I'm going to cut out things, put things together. without just drawing on the wood, and I'll show you how I do that. And just bear with me, and I won't complete a piece, but I'll go through the process of how I make a chair. And I think we have we have a chalkboard here. And if you have any questions at any time, just interrupt. If I can give you an answer, I will. I have no secrets at all of how I work. I like to share with other people, and I've done this now for 60 years. And if I can help you in some way, I will, okay? So why don't we look at the slides? I haven't seen these myself. And this little chair is one of my favorites, and I have about 6 versions of it. And I think I finally have the last version is what I want to do. And it doesn't take me very long to do those. This little chair is the only one of its kind that I've ever made. The legs are all laminated. I did this for Jan Holinka, who was the principal violist for the LA Philharmonic. And I did a cabinet for his music and a music rack. And he made me promise that I'd never make another chair like this for anybody. And he's been gone now about 15 years, and I've not ever made another one, except that one. And this is a double settee, which is one of my favorite pieces. This little chair I like, but I didn't like the back the way it was, so I just turned it over and have it going this way. And I like it very much. It's a dining chair. And right now I have, and this is a double settee. I think it's the one that I have here someplace. I don't know where it is. It's back there. That I made for President Carter. He contacted me and came out. And I've done a lot of furniture for President Carter. I saw him yesterday, and we're very good friends. This is a 3-seater that we use at one of the dining tables. The only problem with that is that 3 people have to stand up, and then the 2 in the end have to bring it up. But if you sit on that, you don't have to help in the kitchen. And this cradle I like very much. I made the first one for our first grandchild, and this is a music rack for 4. This is very detailed. There's a lot of hard line in it. And this is a Zocote rocking chair. Then all the dovetailing I do not use jigs. I just do it freehand. It gives it a little more character, I think. And then I can't tell who. Oh, that's Mike, who came to work for me when he was about 20. And those little things in the front are little models. I used to make them, and myself, but I have arthritis in one hand that they're just too small, but they're beautiful little pieces. And he asked if he could make them to send his daughter through college, and I said, go ahead. The first ones I sold myself, but I have a little decal designed by Maloof, made by Mike Johnson, and I was selling for around $7,500 a piece, $10,000, and then I said, well, Mike, you just take it over and do what you want to do, and he gets about $5,000 a piece for a little chair. This is a stack of lumber that was going to be cut up for firewood, and somebody called me and said they had it, and so I had it cut, and I can make chair seats and all out of it. A stack of wood for chairs. These are patterns. I have hundreds and hundreds of patterns that I make, and then I don't know where they are, so I make new ones. And, but I have a very small shop. It isn't a large shop. It's quite small, but we have one shop, and then Raza's office is connected to it, and then the other shop is 3 rooms, and I work in one room, and Larry and Mike work in another. And But we're able to produce about 50 pieces a year. We don't slug them out. We take a lot of time on every piece that I make. And I think that's a circular staircase that we're making. And I don't do that kind of work for, I just did the staircases for our own home. I made one for one house, and then the new home where Beverly and I live is about 3 stories, and I have a staircase that has 2 double loops in it, and it's quite nice. And here I'm making rockers. They're laminated, and usually we make one in the morning and do one in the evening, and I don't think I'll ever catch up on my orders, but I hope I live long enough to get them all completed. And here, that's a real nice joint. I'll do one for you here. And what I do is put a screw in. One goes that direction, the other goes this direction. You can't pull them out. But I did about 15 seating pieces for the museum in Boston. And it's a please be seated thing. And I noticed that I'd forgotten, I didn't see any plugs in any of them. And that chair's been there 20 years, and hundreds of people have sat on it, and it hasn't come apart. And people talk about not being pure by using screws, but my answer to that is a screw is nothing but a steel dowel. And I've tried to get one out once when I was daydreaming and I didn't go in the right direction, and I had to take the whole back leg off and redo it completely because I couldn't get it out after it broke. But I'll do some of that kind of freehand cutting on a bandsaw to show you how I do that. The spindles, we just freehand cut those on the bandsaw, and here I'm fitting them in. But you can look at that. I think it's a rocking chair that I have back there that I made for President Carter, and he wrote to me and said that people sit on the furniture that is not upholstered, and it's so comfortable it feels like you're sitting on a cushion. But I like chairs that give you very good lower back support. If you don't have lower back support, they're not very comfortable and all. But I've designed something like, over the 60 years that I've worked, I've designed about 500 pieces. And then here, we'll stop with this one, but this was the entry to our old place. And why don't we quit with that, and then I'll go ahead and start working on the bandsaw and all, okay? What I do here, this is going to be a chair seat, and let's see, where's the blackboard? On all my chairs, I start with 5 pieces of wood. It doesn't matter how wide they are. And then what I do here, I cut this at a 3-degree angle. I cut this at a 3-degree angle. I'll step away so you can see it, like so. So then what happens is I have this, like this. This goes up this way, and this goes out this way. Are you with me? And on my saw, I can cut. I have a blade. I use Foster blades, and the cut is so clean I don't even have to run over the jointer with that. It's just from the saw right to, and so what you have here, then this is the center. Then I have this. I have this. I have this. This over here like that. So this is all a curve. Like I've done this, and this is flat, this one goes in, this one goes in. And then I take them apart, and so here's one here. And I drill 2 holes, 3/8 down here where I'm not going to cut into it. and this is a 1/2 inch hole here. Then I take and cut this like that. And I do that on the bandsaw. Then I take this, put it up against the next one, mark it, and then I freehand it through the bandsaw. Then I take that one to the end one. I do the same thing there. And then on the end here, this piece will be like so. And I cut in about like so. This is dadoed out. Then I take my router and do that on both sides where the leg is going to inset. And then here, I'll take this one and cut about like so. This comes out. And I'll take a 90 degree, go in here. This will either be 3 degrees or 5 degrees. And then I do this like that. And this is on both sides. And of course, when I do the slant here, you'll see it like so. This cuts out here. But this one, if I wanted to slant out, it goes out this way. And then I take this out, I take this out, and it fits right. And I'll do one for you, show you how I do that. But it makes a very, very good joint. Here you see it here, the joint here, and it slides in. And I've had them where I don't have to do anything to them. They're strong enough where they will not break out. This one here, you can take a look here too to see how I do that. But what I do is make the seat, put the back legs on, put the front legs on. I put the back on because if I put the front legs on, and this is off a little bit, I have trouble. So this is cut at a 3 degree angle. I put this on, then I go ahead and put the arms on. What I try to do is make a pattern, like here, for example. This is nicer on this side, so I'll use that side. I don't care which way the grain runs, as long as I have the... Now see, this has a knot in it, so I'll put this out here, because this is going to be cut off. And this is nice here. Cut these at what I want is this cut at a 3 degree angle, this cut at a 3 degree angle. I've marked them. Yeah. And then this the same way, and this is turned over and done the same way. If you'll do those, and then I want the finish to be, do you have a tape or a yardstick? Right, I want this about 20.5 inches.
20.5 inches?
Yeah. And 2-inch piece. Just plane it on both sides.
Okay. How long?
Oh.
Okay. Okay.
Then what I'm going to do is some freehand cutting. I'll do some freehand cutting on the bandsaw, showing you how I didn't bring any patterns or anything. This is all going to be eyeballed, and you can see how you can make a chair or whatever. And then in the meantime, the last time I gave a workshop here, this was a little table that I was making. And now this little piece here is not very long. This isn't very long. So when I'm cutting out chairs, I save all of this, and I can make tables different sizes. And you see how this is. This has a dowel, a dowel, a dowel, a dowel. And then I round all these off, but then after they're put together, I hardline like this little table here. And then this has a center core. Can you see that? And these just slide into it. And the question was, why do I just use a dado rather than a dovetail? And I'm exaggerating here a little bit, but here I come in like so. I do this, I do that, and I do that. And this is going to be cut like so. Can you see that? Then I make this a dovetail, so this is what happens. That's a very weak joint right there. Very, very weak. Okay? And then what I do, though, when I make a big table, and the largest table I've made that way is about 12 foot in diameter. And then I up the legs and all, just according to, but then what I do when this is like so, like this, on the big ones, I'll take a router and go in, and I go in about 1 inch. Then I put a peg, a peg, and then I go halfway this way, a peg, and that keeps it from breaking out. Are you with me? Do you understand what I'm talking? On the small ones, I don't have to do that because they don't have that much weight. But the largest one of these I made was about 10 feet, and I shipped it to. Where was it? Anyway, in the south somewhere. And we made the box, put it upside down and all. I keep the legs off completely so that when they drop it, nothing is pressured on the legs. And I said, I wrote and I said, this side up, handle with care. And I have a photograph. We have it upside down where we've had it one side down, and then we couldn't get it out of the shop. The doors weren't high enough. So we had to take all the doors off. I had to cut up 2 feet higher than the doors and all. So now I make everything that goes through the door and all. But there are a lot of experiences that I've had that were sort of dumb. But if you don't make mistakes, you don't learn.